Hello everyone, Carrington here from Open Heart Games. We are back with our playthrough of the Tyranny of Dragons for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. I am joined today, I'm very thankful, we have our council today. This is our final council session for Tyranny of Dragons. One of the things that happens in the Tyranny of Dragons is the players kind of transition in Horde of the Dragon Queen very early on. You can watch that in the first couple of episodes, to kind of local heroes who are investigating this village, and they kind of move up as the campaign progresses into these... also, hey, Night Divinity, thanks so much for the sub. They transition into these, quite frankly, like, you know, heroes that travel far and wide, and they have been working with this council, the Council of Waterdeep, has employed them as agents, representing them to go out and to fight against the cult of the dragon. And so now we have our final council session, and in this session, one of the things that none of the counselors knew ahead of time, that I'm going to tell them now, is after doing our follow-ups, I'm going to give each of the counselors the option of whether or not in character they would continue to support the party or withdraw their support, depending upon how everything goes in the discussion. So there we are. No one knew that until this exact moment, so that will be exciting.
Wait, can just for me?
Yeah.
Can you run that back one more time?
I'm going to give each of the council members the opportunity to continue their support roleplay-wise, or withdraw it. Which will have effects on the on the difficulty of the mission ahead.
Also, Baylor for sure.
Mostly just Baylor. So there we are. I guess before we get started, I always like to do kind of a little preamble where we waste 10, 15, 20 minutes, who knows how long. And just ask. I mean, we've definitely talked about this enough, but I just love talking about it. And Dave was just saying how he just watched the Dungeons and Dragons movie, which is great to see in the cinema. Has everyone seen the movie? And I guess I'll start off with let's talk to Consular Froome here. Have you seen the movie? No. Okay. What about Conrad Brandonville? Did you see it?
I did. We went, my Wednesday night D&D group
Nice.
went instead of holding our session, and we all loved it. It was a blast to sit there getting all the inside jokes and identifying, baby rust monster, things like that. It was a lot of fun. And then all wanting the rules for druids to be like they are in the movie.
Yeah, be able to just... I think it'd be cool if they were just like, hey, you want to wild shape differently? Burn a spell. I think they could find a way to do it.
Yep.
And here's a fun math question. I wonder what the ratio is, spell to wild shape. I wonder what that math shakes out to be.
Depends. Are you the tank?
Yeah, I mean, there's that. Yeah. So, I guess real quick. I guess we're gonna have a shorter preamble since we've got a lot of stuff. This will probably be, because it is a council session, this will probably be a bit of a shorter session, and then probably towards the end, maybe if we have enough time, we'll take a break. I'll throw some monsters on the field. There's another thing I can do, and we'll have the party fight them. And then, what level is everyone? I forget. And don't say 20.
19.
19 and a half.
Actual answer 13.
Night Divinity says 24. Okay, you said 13.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we're getting pretty close to where, because the campaign ends at 15. So I think at the end of this council session, I think the party will get another level. So huzzah! So yeah, I guess let's go ahead and introduce and I guess reintroduce our council members. So let's start at the very top with Councilor Ramalia, sorry.
Yes, Ramalia. Yes. So Ramalia will be played by J.K. Miles. I'll be running Lady Haventry, who's the director of the Harpers, right? And the Harpers are, well, if you've seen the movie, you know that Edgin works for the Harpers. They have their fingers in every pie there is, and they're not willing to get their hand. They're not above getting their hands dirty.
Excellent. And Conrad Brannenville.
This is Ryan. I go by Arpulus in the chat. I'm going to be playing Conrad Braun Anvil, who is former King of Mithril Hall, member of the Lord's Alliance, representing the Dwarves of the North, including Citadel Adbar and Citadel Felbar. Looking forward to it.
Yep, I love the bar cities, kind of like the quad cities up north.
Yeah.
And Ontharr Froome.
I am Daryl. I go by D. I am praying Ontharr Froome, head of the Order of the Order of the Gauntlet, and we believe in might and we believe in right.
Excellent. I guess I'll go next real quick. I am Carrington, the Game Master here. I'm actually be playing 2 roles today. Actually, I lied. I will be playing 3 roles today. The first role I will be playing is as the party's new friend, in air quotes, Valen, who is a representative from the Zentarum that I actually played for a short campaign on another stream. Loved the character so much, brought her back to tease the party. She is kind of evil. The next I will be playing Lady Laeral Silverhand, who is the leader of the Council of Waterdeep. And finally, also, and to my surprise and glee, I will also be playing as the representative from the Red Wizards of Thay. So I'll be prizing 3 roles today. We'll start with 1 and then add the others in as it makes sense. So, but with that, we also now have Baylor.
Well, hello there, everyone. My name's Baylor. I'm Jabrilopad in chat. I'll be piloting Baylor tonight. Baylor is everybody's favorite lovable 6-year-old.
Wow. And chat just said, don't forget about Valdis. And Night Divinity said, don't worry, he will. Thanks. That's so aggressive and rude. Not incorrect, but anyways. Mordock. Is Mordock there?
I was gonna remind you, but chat beat me to it.
Thanks.
I'm Dave. I'm playing Mordok, our Azamar protector cleric guy.
Cleric guy? There you go.
Cleric guy. Yeah, I actually do heal people now.
Sometimes.
Sucks.
Only if needed.
Yeah, I hate it. It sucks, but oh well. That's my job. So.
All right, and Patron.
You caught me about to reply to Arpulus. I am Brad, also known as Hidehari in chat, the one who reminded our level DM about his other character he forgot about. And I will be playing Patron Purpleheart, our druid.
Also, if we want to start the hype train, we have we are one thing away from starting the hype train. Anyways, so we have Rillick.
Hey, this is... Apparently I can't talk. This is Rillick. I'm J-Dub in the morning in chat, and I am a fireball flinging bird.
Yep.
That's a wizard. I realize other places can throw fireballs.
A spicy chicken.
Yep.
Excellent. And Zed, last but not least.
What's up, everyone? Mage here. I play Zed, your kobold monk, who wants to grow up and be a dragon one day, and is the primary caretaker to our black dragon, Valdis.
All right, so who would like to take a stab at the what happened last time?
Oh, well.
It was pretty rude, is what happened.
see what had happened was.
So you see, what had happened is there was a tower and not a tower, and apparently we owned the tower, but by some towery stuff, we sold the tower that we kind of tower owned. If you're not following that, we had apparently acquired a tower by right of conquest, which whatever that means. And then we hush hush nudge nudge wink wink sold the tower that we didn't know we had acquired via right of conquest to lucrative business opportunities.
Okay.
Was what we're sticking with. And then we oh gosh, what was the second part? Oh,
The second part was we got hosed.
Yeah, we visited the Thay, and
Oh no! Before we visited the Thay, we got hosed.
You mean hoodwinked?
Yeah.
No hosed.
I was gonna leave that out for future reference because I was gonna ask somebody later on, but yeah, we apparently lost our Black Dragon mask.
No, the blue one.
Oh, the blue one that we acquired.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also went and visited Thay and had a. I mean, I just had bad dreams. I don't know how everyone else feels about the experience.
10 out of 10 would recommend.
Maybe.
It's
Well,
not
as a bird.
Go ahead.
Relic, you go.
All right, as a bird that doesn't have sweat glands, I woke up sweating from the dream, so it's pretty bad.
I didn't have any dreams, but I definitely wouldn't recommend it as a vacation spot.
Are you saying?
I thought it was.
Go ahead.
I thought it was quite nice. I even drew a picture.
Yep, which you gave to the vampiress. Yeah, last session was a lot of fun. It was all roleplay. I think we rolled like a few dice, and that was it. Which is actually, like, as a game master and a storyteller, like roleplay sessions where it's just pure roleplay, some of those are my favorite. Now, I will say, like, as someone who's a storyteller and that, like, you can't do them every session unless your group's just super into that, because there has to be some kind of, larger conflict. Plus, people love to roll dice. I don't know, I feel it's a very human thing. So, so just to kind of bring the party up to speed, out of character of the council, the party went and found Laosin Aranthar, who is a contact of the parties. He is a harper, and gave Laosin the mask for safekeeping. Unbeknownst to them, Valen was wearing a ring of disguise, and received the mask, and now currently has it in her possession. So, the party has returned from their diplomatic mission to Thay, and actually, this is really interesting. The party did a very good job of role playing and convincing the Thayans to join their cause. I've run this module many times, and this is the first time that a party has managed to successfully, without having to like give a lot to Thay, has been able to like successfully negotiate and get Thay to join. So huzzah! Or maybe it's a bad thing. We'll find out. So I guess now that we have done our recap, we've done our little chat, we've chatted about a couple of cool things. I guess let's go ahead and dive in to this council session. I am going to go ahead and throw on this sound in the background, the Antiquarian Study, and the party comes in, and sitting in Laeral Silverhand's seat currently is a familiar-looking elf, which is Valen, sitting there, and she says, "Oh, please, come in, come in." So, not quite usurped, but maybe keeping warm for, definitely a breach of decorum, is this representative of the Zentarum. And she's like, she looks over at Ramalia Haventree and says, "Can I use the gavel, too, to start the session?"
Question before we get too much farther. Do we
Yes.
know that we don't know that she hosed us, right?
No.
Our characters have no clue.
No.
Okay.
And Ramalia, I'm assuming there's a reason. I'm trying. Maybe I'm not following. Like,
So-
why is the Zentarum
so-
person able to do this?
Money.
Money?
Influence.
Okay.
Their organization have donated a out of character. Their organization have donated considerable resources and everything to help. You know, previously the other organizations have kind of been bled dry due to the cults of the dragon. The Zentarum have not been fighting them, and therefore they are flush with cash. And so, in order to entice them and keep them happy, Lady Laurel Silverhand even told you, like, just keep her out of trouble, but pretty much give her what she wants, because we need their resources, we need their influence, and we need their capital.
I got you. All right. So
Wait a minute. We crashed a castle full of cash at the gate of the dwarves' cities, if I remember right.
Let me rephrase. Let me rephrase. Most of the factions are not flush with cash right now. Connor, Brown Anvil is probably doing all right. What was that, Brown Anvil?
Finders keepers.
And I would say the dwarves are probably not, what's the word? Known for sharing, maybe? I don't know. You tell me.
Okay. All right. So I'm supposed to sort of tolerate her and give. So I'll roll my eyes just a little bit, and nod. Yes, you can use the gavel.
Oh, excellent. Oh, how fun. I've always wanted to do that. Welcome to our council. As you can see here, I'll introduce myself. My name is Valen, and I am a member of the Zentarum. And I know that I'm well acquainted with you, but I believe it may be some time since you've seen these other folks. So why don't you start by telling us what you have been up to? Particularly, I think that I believe that the council would be very interested in, I think they would be very interested in knowing exactly what happened at your, which is now our, tower. She smiles. So who in the party would like to tell the council about what happened in the tower?
Yes, do tell.
Well,
Heck yeah.
To start with, ma'am, you're gonna have an absolute nightmare on your hands dealing with that tower. It's just it's a haunted house that actually bites back. It's a nightmare. But basically, we walked through a little hedge garden, got inside, poked around for a little bit. It was a little deadly for a while, and then we left.
Interesting. Truly. Well, and after that, what is it that you all agreed to?
Is this the lady asking?
Yeah.
Well, I'm fairly confident that you should know.
Fellow esteemed counselors, I just wanted to bring to your attention that we have made an offer the party has politely accepted, and we have now taken possession of this tower. I hope that will not prove problematic. in our relationship. She just looks like daggers at Ontharr Froom. Maybe not daggers. She looks at Ontharr with just this kind of like, I look at me, I'm the captain now kind of look.
Ontharr Froom is not blinking.
I will say we did have to pay a tidy sum. Times are hard, but I am quite pleased with our purchase.
Well, I'm gonna be quite honest. You got fleeced.
I mean, we will have time will tell. Out of character. Does anyone else? We can start with Romalia. What does Romalia take? What's Romalia feel about this or want to say about this? By the way, the organization, the Zentarum, and the for those who are not as familiar with Faerun lore, the Zentarum and the Harpers are kind of two sides of the same coin. They both kind of do clandestine operations and whatnot. The Harpers do so for the good of their heart. The Zentarum do it for the good of their wallet. Anyways.
Yeah, so, I mean, the Zentarum are not necessarily evil. They're
opportunistic.
They're opportunistic.
They're the mob!
Yeah, they're the mob. Well, the mob can be very useful sometimes.
Yeah, but they're still the mob!
Right, they are. Let me tell you a little story about the fall of the Soviet Union. Anyway, so I think when they mentioned that they sold the tower, I think you see Romalia's eyes get really kind of big for a second, and then there's this kind of weariness that comes over her as she realizes that this is just the price of doing business in Waterdeep. We've always had to do this, you know. And while there's a rivalry between the Zentarum and the Harpers, you know, they're necessary. And even though this one is flamboyant and a witch with a capital B, I think Romalia would, you know, I don't think she would say anything about the sale itself. But she would take note of the fact that the Zentarum may be flush with cash, but they just spent a good bit of it.
Yep. In order to curry the favor from the in order to curry favor from the party.
Money won't last forever.
Mm-hmm. But they would
she's kind of thinking in her head, keep spending it, darling, keep spending it.
Ah, yes, just one more shrimp cocktail.
Yeah.
How does Conrad Brownanville feel about this?
Conrad had been trying to pretend like the Zentarum weren't even in the room. Like, who let them in here? Sullying these proceedings. And when he hears of the sale, he initially kind of started, you know, gets a little jump, like a little start in his seat. And now he squints his eyes. Rather than his eyes going wide, he squints his eyes and he's staring right at the PCs like, what have you done? But he knows that Ontharr Froom probably has an even bigger problem with this. But he is somewhat shooting the stink eye at PCs for having done business with the Zentarum and is not impressed.
So has everybody seen the meme where the kid is like standing there awkwardly looking back and forth between two people?
Yeah.
That's Baylor.
Excellent. And what about Ontharr Froom?
After a moment, Ontharr Froom finally blinks, shakes his head a moment, and then drains his goblet and slams it down on the table. All right! First, I need paper and a quill. And then I need a refill. And then we're going to talk about what this means.
So Valen will snap her fingers and then like point to her goblet and Onthar's goblet. And at that time, one of the functionaries approaches, plays parchment in front, quill and just ink pen, or quill and inkwell, and sets it in front of him.
Mr. Froome, would you like to try some of these? And Zed reveals he's sitting down on the floor with his own parchment on his lap. And he's got colored wax that he's doodling with, and is offering you a crayon if you'd like.
Well, that is adorable. No. This is unfortunately now on the clock.
Okay. Offers on the table. Just let me know. I'll share.
I thought it was going to be a nice, relaxing meeting, maybe coming to the end, but no, now I've got to pause.
I'm having a nice, relaxing evening.
Valen points, looks over at Ontharr and points at Zed, who's now coloring on the floor, and it's just like, aren't they just adorable at that age? Just delectable. I could just eat him up in a single bite.
Yes, I do know how you feel about taking advantage of children, but that's not going on this report.
Wow. Something taking candy from a baby. So you're writing.
Wow.
So aggressive. Well. We also have to discuss the unfortunate development, which is, and Valen produces the blue dragon mask, and she tosses it onto the table in front of the party, and she says, which is that this mask is unfortunately a very clever, very detailed forgery.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but we didn't give that to her.
You didn't mean to.
No, but like
No,
we
but
wouldn't
we
know
did.
that we didn't give it to her.
Correct.
Okay.
I would assume, right? Who I gave it to Leosin, correct?
Right.
Air quotes, yes.
So Patron would look shocked and pull up his dragon hoard and fill it with alcohol immediately and repeat Onthar's chugging.
Theo, or whatever your name happens to be.
Who are you talking
Might I, Theosin,
Leosin's not in the room.
or not Leosin? Sorry,
Valen?
Valen. Sorry, Vicky, or might I ask where you acquired that?
Are you gonna make me roll?
Yeah.
I'm not.
How dare you!
How dare you make
it roll?
Oh man. I mean, I have her character sheet. Just give me a second. I wasn't expecting to have to roll dice. I will echo Ontharr for him. How dare.
To have one of the shadiest characters we've ever come across roll dice? Yeah, how dare.
How very dare I be diligent? All right.
I would like to point out for those listening at home that this is absolutely the right call. Let me see here.
Yeah, we're insight checking her, right?
Yeah. I think she's actually a level. She's actually not that good at lying, surprisingly. She's real good at other things, but lying she's
Keep
not
in
super
mind,
good at.
Baylor is also very stupid.
Hide any knowledge from me. I dare you.
Meets it, beats it, right?
Yeah. She says, "Oh, well, I ran into Leosin in the hallway."
Yeah.
I know that to be a lie, right?
Yeah.
Well, before I lose my patience, I would advise you to try that again. I know for a fact you're lying.
Oh my gosh, I can't remember my name.
Romalia.
Or Romalia?
Romalia, yeah. Romalia, you just see her kind of smirk and chuckle.
Remembering all of the times that you had to have a conversation with us in the past.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
She just kind of
Am I
looks...
to understand that this mask was stolen from you then? Scribble, scribble, scribble.
Are you asking Baylor that?
Oh yeah.
What's your in-game name? I apologize.
Ontharr.
Ontar. Ontar, if you would be so gracious as to allow me just a minute more to pull at this thread, I'm more than willing to answer all of your questions.
I just imagine Baylor being like, "Yep, I'm a genius."
Baylor thinks he's killing it right now. So
All behind me.
I'll
Go.
turn back to Valen.
One moment. What was that, Braun Anvil?
Conrad Braun Anvil's like, what else did they give to the Zentarum? Like grumbling under his breath. It's like a tower, a mask.
Mm-hmm. All right, Baylor.
I will turn back to. Is it Valen?
Yes, it's Valen.
I will turn back to Valen and Valen, so that you know I'm talking to you. Please tell the truth.
Tell the truth. Ah, those words are just music to my ears. My own mother used to say them to me all the time. Valen, tell the truth. It's not kind to tell lies, nor is it kind to hire assassins to track me down. Anyways, the truth is that I acquired it through unofficial channels. I have it. I had some of our mages in our employ take a look at it, and to ensure that it was a genuine article, and we found that it was not.
Team, we don't have the real one, right?
No. She
Okay.
says, and I was quite disappointed.
Well, you can imagine my disappointment knowing that we didn't give that to you. The last person we left it in charge with, or in the charge of, was our dear friend Valen. So we were to believe.
You mean Leosin?
Or yeah, Leosin.
Their names are so similar now that
Nope.
I hear them out loud.
No, yeah, I saw.
Baylor, this is why we call him Leo.
Thank you, Zed.
This is why everyone gets a nickname.
Apologies.
Okay. She says, regardless, we had the mask.
I do not believe it is kind to sit in the chair that you now sit in, practicing nefarious means to acquire things that, by all rights, were going to be given to the council anyway. It does seem to me like you're a liar.
Well,
The record will show.
Before Mordok speaks, she points at Onthar and says, "You can strike that, darling." And Mordok, what were you going to say?
there are ways that we can, that I'm sure that the council can determine who is telling the truth here. We handed the mask off to Leosin, who we have known since the beginning of this, and all of a sudden, Balin has it and says it's a fake.
Indeed.
There are ways that this can be resolved, and who is telling the truth and who is not. I'm sure it is within the council's means to provide that service.
Her
Truth.
her eyes.
Yeah, I just don't have it. I don't
Yeah.
have it. I don't have it prepared, or we could just say I do, or something.
Her eyes narrow, and she says to you, "Are you sure that you specifically would like to open that can of worms, given your reputation and history?"
Bring it, sweetheart.
The only reputation Mordok has is not healing his party.
I believe he sticks that reputation.
She looks to Baylor and she says, "And you, darling, would you too like this?"
What are we talking about?
She's willing to expose you, the blackmail that she mentioned.
Yeah, Jabril picked that up. Baylor picked that up. Baylor's ignoring her at this point.
As you wish. I will be happy to submit my actions to a formal inquiry. However, esteemed counselors, I would like to bring to attention to the entire council. These agents, at least 2 of them, are not who they have said that they are, and in fact have ties and a history, a very intimate history, which could prove useful were they to be debriefed properly in their own zone of truths. They have an intimate knowledge of the Cult of the Dragon, as they are both former cultists themselves.
Bum, bum, bum.
Thank you, Antharford. And
More
that
paperwork.
with that, she crosses her arms and she says, "I think that the council will find that my crimes are far beneath that of theirs." How? She says, "But I am fair, just, kind even. I'm willing to not let this information leave the room. We can move on, so long as we all decide to move forward together."
Well, I don't know about my dear friend Mordok here, but everybody in this room already knows, and those would seem to be the people that matter at this point. So we might as well find out what your secrets are, right?
What does Romalia have?
Romalia-
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think what she's going to do is she's going to want to know more about their ties to the dragon cult, and I'd like to hear it from the 2 accused.
Okay.
How deep were they in the cult? Why did they leave? The whole 9 yards. These are very serious accusations.
Conrad Brownenville, what do you think?
I think Conrad Brownenville is looking at the whole party now with even squintier eyes, thinking, I don't know who I can trust at this point. Zone of truths for everybody.
I just love
Oprah with the zone of truth.
I just love the idea of Conrad Brownenville's already narrow eyes narrowing narrower.
I'm just seeing a whole bunch of, and I know this doesn't translate too well, and I'm old, but hopefully you all get the reference. I just see a whole bunch of cones of silence coming down.
There you go. I got that reference.
There you go. Cone of silence.
That was from Get Smart.
Yep. I request the cone of silence. What about Antharfroom?
We're going to need more paper.
Valen.
And you're going on record! And you're going on record! And you're going on record!
Disciplinary action for you! Disciplinary action for you! Disciplinary action for you!
Like you're in front of the cops going, no, I want you to go on record. And he's like, well, yeah.
Obviously. With that, Valen will say, she'll look to Romalia Haventry and say, "I'm willing to have this inquest here and now. But I do wonder, Romalia, how would support for the effort proceed were Faerun's heroes be viewed as not as heroic? That's a concern that I have, you know?"
So Romalia looks at her, leans over, and she says, "I think we have to lance the boil now. We can talk about public relations later. And we will talk about public relations later."
Oh, and you see, her outfit is this absolutely just beautiful, formal attire, pressed, absolutely perfect. She says, "Oh, as you know, appearances are very important, especially here in Waterdeep. That's what I found." She'll say, "So, shall we hear from the accused?" And she gestures to Baelor and Mordok. Out of character, who would like to go first? and tell your
Valen?
story. Huh?
Valen.
She says, I'm not the one on trial here. At least not yet. And she'll gesture.
Oh no, you're all on trial here.
I'm not a former cultist. I am merely an agent for my...
Technically, you were the first one to be accused, and then you created a counter-accusation, I believe.
I believe it's a formal counter motion. Jot that down. You may want to know the lingo if you want to be on this council.
Oh, snap.
She mean.
Romalia looks right at Baylor and says, "You first."
Very well. Do we need to cast Zone of Truth or what? Or are we just going to assume? Well, I don't have it.
You know who does? Ontharr Froome.
Hey!
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm pretty sure I'm the paladin enough to be able to do that. Like, oh no, trust me. I've got you right here. Just stand in the middle here, and we'll get you.
Well, I have a question for Ontharr. So I imagine that, like, two of the functionaries, like, drag over a chair and they sit it down. And I would like for you to describe to me what does Zone of Truth look like? Go nuts. Putting you on the spot.
Slowly, a chair is dragged out of heavy wood to be set
Awkwardly.
in the middle. Awkwardly, just slowly, just into the middle of the room, in front of everybody to be placed there. And then slowly, a rather large bag of salt is gotten out to be drawn in a eldritch, almost looking circle and rune on the floor before lighting a set of candles to place around it. And finally biting his thumb and spitting into the salt and going, "All right, so sit down. This is gonna get real interesting."
I'm so here for this.
What's the save for this?
You can choose to fail.
I know.
It's wisdom?
Yeah, I'm going to fail
We gotta
anyway.
look
So.
up Ontharr
You
Froom's
don't-
stats for this.
I don't believe there is a save, but you don't have to answer the questions because you know you're under a zone of truth.
I thought Zone of Truth had a
There's
save.
no
Pardon me.
compulsion to it.
It has a save only if you lie, doesn't it?
You try to lie. It's like a lie detector.
Hold on.
If you try to lie, then you roll, right? Is that the right? Let's look it up.
No, I do believe that it is you have to tell the truth, but
I believe it's you have to tell the truth.
Let's look
But
up
you
the spell.
can choose, but like you don't. It's not like truth serum.
No, there's no
All
compulsion
right.
to it.
I'm gonna read this out loud for everyone who's listening at home. All right, second level, one action, charisma save, which I think is even better for Baylor, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
It actually is. Good. All right, you create a magical zone that guards against deception in a 15-foot radius sphere centered on a point of your choice. Within range, until the spell ends, a creature entering the spell's area for the first time on its turn or starts there must make a charisma saving throw. On a failed save, the creature cannot speak a deliberate lie while within the radius. You know whether each creature succeeds or fails the saving throw. An affected creature is aware of the spell and can thus avoid answering questions which would normally respond in a lie. Each creature can be evasive with its answers as long as it is within the boundaries of truth. So you can Vulcan your way out of this if you wish, Spock. Right? Omission's not lying.
Exactly.
There you go. So there's your spell description.
Hard fail. Hard
Excellent. All right, you and
Hard
Ontharr, you know, I am going to. Ontharr definitely seems very interested in leading this investigation, so I'm going to let Ontharr proceed.
Oh, he only has to make a save if he lies. As long as he's telling the truth, there's no save involved.
So, from what year to what year were you involved in the cult?
I mean, what?
You can give a general amount.
Approximately
Of
how long
19
ago?
1962 to 1974.
A lot of drugs, man. I don't know.
Went to Dragonstock.
Oh, in the 70s, man.
Yeah.
Oh.
There was a lot of mushrooms.
It all
How
comes
long
back to
did
mushrooms.
you work for the cult?
Well, from the time I was born until they found me.
So it would be safe to say that you were raised by this cult, then.
Well, yes and no.
Sketch.
Just answer the question.
Were the people responsible for raising you, then, from birth, the cult?
No.
So who were your parents?
They were part of my tribe.
So was your tribe then a part of the cult?
Yes and no.
Ah. The deviant tribe. Where did you say you hailed from again?
Oh boy, let me find the map. Hold on. Carrington, can we get a map on screen, please?
Oh yeah, hang on a second. We'll just do this real quick. Please hold while I pull up the map. Map loading.
I would also like to add that I haven't deliberately lied yet, and I really haven't avoided any truths yet.
Yeah. So while we as we're doing this, sorry, I should share a tooltip, right? In like a video game when a map's loading. It should be something along the lines of like, avoid your HP going to 0 to continue playing the game. Yep. Having a high armor class is a net positive for you. All right, cool. There's a map. It's up.
So, Carrington, if I'm not mistaken, we decided that I was from up in the spine somewhere, right?
Yeah, spine of the world.
Yeah. Well, my tribe is from the spine.
Are you a Goliath or what is
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Good D&D math there, by the way. All of the clues that I've given you adding up to Goliath?
I might know a silly amount of lore from running too many modules.
I love it.
And I make a lot of side stories within my campaigns that have a lot of deep lore.
Gosh, hard same.
I'm gonna have to tell you about some of the stuff I'm doing right now in Icewind Dale. So you came down from the spine of the world with the cult.
Yes.
What
Well,
made you
my
leave?
parents did.
I think the last question was, why'd you leave?
What made you leave?
What made
Just
me leave
because
the cult?
people find you and they're like, hey, we're here to be happy-go-lucky people, doesn't mean that you decide to leave the people that raised you.
You're a little grumpy.
Braun Anvil will sidle over at this point, and he's going to try to play good cop.
Other cop?
Other cop?
Awful good cop. Be like, what my partner's trying to ask you is, do you still have any allegiance to the cult?
No. 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 No.
It sounds
so
like the
what
answer.
did you do for the cult before you left?
Well, in exchange for not killing everyone, my family, my tribe, volunteered me as, do you know who Thor is?
I am familiar with Tempest.
Yeah, that same set, one and the same, my friend. Well, I'm kind of like him to my family.
So you drink a lot and have goats.
And make poor decisions?
Check.
You have a brother that tries to kill you.
And check. Had a brother that tried to kill me.
Out of character. We shut that down real quick. No. Oh, man. In the next campaign, you should play Baylor's brother, who's just a smaller giant and a cleric of Loki. There you go. Done. Next character.
Done. That's my next character right there.
Heard it here first, folks.
So, to catch us all up here, my family volunteered me to be like a superhero for the cult in exchange for the cult not killing us all.
So, you were told then that you were being a superhero.
Oh, yeah, you should see me. I'm quite a sight.
I'm sure, yes. I mean,
I can do it for you.
No, I mean, we got this far, really. I mean, I'm not doubting your prowess in this moment, but but really, you were how old at this time?
At what time?
When you were sold to the cult.
Well, I don't know if it's much. I don't know if so much sold, but basically, what was about your
treated away?
Remind me what race you are?
Human.
Our
Froome is human.
Okay. What was about your height? 4, 5?
Jeez.
Oh, okay. So, a 5-year-old was put into a treaty amongst a tribe and a cult to be traded.
Not sure what a treating is, but sure.
Okay, so your parents were important people?
No. Well, in the tribe, no. No.
There was another person that was in the cult then in the party, yes?
What was the question? There is another person in here that is a cultist? Yes.
Yeah, Anthar doesn't know what to say anymore. He's like, so there was somebody else, right?
Your Honor, no further questions. Can we move on?
Valen, this is a joke. Valen says, I'd like to move to Cross. Can I treat the witness as hostile? No. Baylor's like, yes, I am hostile. Anyway, sorry.
I am very hostile.
Valen's like, yes, it's actually that one, and points at Mordock.
Yes, that would be me.
Before we go to Mordock, does anyone have any other questions for Baylor? Most of that was Anthar Froome, but does Romalia or Conrad do they have any questions?
Why should we trust you to frustrate the efforts of the cult?
You're asking Baylor that?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, I hate the cult.
And why is that? They took care of you. They
No, the cult didn't take care of me. When the party found me, I was chained in a cage, and every day threatened to be the food of a beast.
True.
That I'm not quite sure how you get down, but that's not.
That is how we found him.
Didn't remember a time that wasn't what I did. I hate the cult.
We didn't even find out his name is Baylor until like several days later. We just kept calling him Dinner.
Food,
that's right. That was his name. I completely forgot about that. Good stuff.
Called him Food.
Yep. Oh man. Yeah.
Romalia says, "Well, I'm satisfied. I mean, what better ally to have than someone who has every reason to hate the cult?" And looks right at Valen.
She's like,
And
wait a second. This whole operation was your idea. No.
Yes, usually those people that are forcefully traded into shadowy organizations tend to be vengeful once freed.
What about those of us who sign up because the benefits are really good? No one ever tells our story.
Those are the people that get caught for tax evasion.
She pats her on the hand and says, "Yes, dear. Opportunists are so undersung in the stories. Yes, very much."
She grips Romalia's hand and says, "Thank you. It's nice to know I have some support somewhere." Conrad Branenville, do you have any questions for the for poor Baylor?
Branenville will just look Baylor with his squinty eyes right in Baylor's eyes and be like, "So are you willing to die to defeat the cult? Or are you just in it for a big sack of gold that the first silver-tongued devil waves in your face as he shoots the stink eye right at
Balin?
Yeah, right.
Well, I don't have any money, so I don't know that I've actually been paid that well, which would tell you all you need to know.
Romalia says, "I'm satisfied. Let's move on to the cleric."
Yeah, Branenville just kind of grunts and looks at Baylor and goes back and sits down.
She waves him away. Oh, that was disappointing. Mordok. Anthar, do you have questions?
Please, have a seat.
Okay, I'll sit.
When did you find yourself under the employ of the cult of the dragon?
About a year ago. I don't know, how long have we been on this quest, time-wise?
I would say it's probably been about a year.
Okay, so 2 years ago.
And how did you find yourself in this position?
Very recent, I'd like to point out. Write that down.
Well, my family and I were simple farmers, and there's not a lot of money in turnips.
That's true. Write that down, too.
I'll make it as up as I go.
No, yeah, love it.
Yeah, and when the cult came through on a mission, they kind of gave us the, you're going to join us at the, point of a sword, but the pay was better than growing turnips, so we did. And life was good.
So what did you do for the cult then?
I was a healer for them. That's what I do.
Baylor is laughing so hard right now.
So you healed the cult members, but your own party says that you withheld support.
I've never, I can't say that none of my companions have died, because one has, but that was through no fault of mine. I think, how did Korash die? Anyway?
A rabbit bullet.
Yeah.
No, it was a roper.
No.
Oh, it was the rabbit bullet!
It killed me,
It was Pip.
but the roper was
Got
gone.
him.
It was a bullet through the eyes.
And he'll go to his grave saying that it was to put him out of his misery.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Sticking with it.
Oh, I love it.
It's what was the
man.
deer slayer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, I forgot about that.
I deer slayer him.
It was not the roper that killed poor Korash.
Oh,
It was
man.
my poor
That's-
aim. I mean, it was an act of mercy.
I was doing the right thing. Anyways, okay, so one of them...
It was an unfortunate ricochet.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
He shifted suddenly. Anyways,
Yes.
That just happens to
You
be
jumped
Chip's
right in
middle
front of the
name.
bullet, officer. I'm sorry.
yeah. All right, so what does...
Can I finish my story that I'm making up as I go?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we interrupted you.
Please.
When I finish the story, I'm making up as I go.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I have a few lines of a backstory, but now that I'm under the gun, I'm embellishing what I have. As we proceeded to raid village after village, I became more useful to the cult in healing them, and I unfortunately drew the attention of, now I have to read this, of, our favorite, help me Zed, Frulon Modbath. What do we call her?
Furlong Mothbat?
Yeah. Yes.
Who was it? You completely, cut out there for a little bit.
Her name is Furlong Mothbat.
Yes. Of her and a half-orc named Bogluck, who I have managed to do away with, and Resmir, who is still at large. I drew their attention, and they were concerned that I was getting too much.
Didn't Resmir die? I think you killed Resmir.
You did kill Resmir.
No, I killed Bogluck.
I think you also
I thought
killed
Resmir
Resmir.
flew away when we crashed the...
No, that was Rathmondar.
Oh, okay. So I just have to get Frulon Montbath.
Mudbath.
Furlong.
Montbath. Yeah.
Oh, say it with me. Furlong Mothbat.
Mothbat.
Of the Neverwinter Mothbats? Sorry.
Yes, of the Neverwinter Mothbats. Of that line.
Anyways, we're getting pretty far aboard.
We're getting
Way
more
off.
silly, yes.
So,
As I grew in influence, they were jealous and took out my wife and children. And I've vowed to
sorry.
destroy the cult ever
Who is
since.
your
I've gotten
god?
2 of them, and now only 1 remains.
Romalia asks, so am I correct that you have put your life on the line on more than one occasion to frustrate the efforts of the cult and to keep the masks out of their hands?
I've frustrated the cult for revenge.
what is your faith again?
Okay. This will be fun. I am going to do...
A lying?
No! I am going to do... Where's it at?
You're gonna make me roleplay questioning. We're gonna roleplay questioning, dang it.
I will have to say, you started off the what is your, and I really wanted you to say favorite
I
color.
wanted to say your favorite color. Yeah.
I'm glad the
Oh,
two of
come
you are
on.
on the same wavelength.
Oh, where is it?
Miles,
What
let's
is
high
your
five.
class?
While you're
What
looking,
is the-
There we go.
Swallow.
So
Oh,
I do
good.
this.
Radiant Soul. So the divine
That's my
energy,
answer.
the divine energy within yourself, causing your eyes to glimmer. 2 luminous incorporeal wings sprout from his back and transforms into this luminous being.
Does that answer your question, mortal?
At this point, Valen kind of like shields her eyes and is like, that is incredibly bright and inconvenient. We can stop that at any time. I, in fact, hate that.
Antar Froom's eyes, in fact, only just narrow. Then why would 2 cultists and high priests of the Dragon Queen fall for that?
All for what?
Believing that a celestial then was on their side.
They're not?
Because the money was good. It beat digging up turnips. And one has to eat.
It comes back. It all comes back to turnips. Because evil will always win because good is dumb. Sorry.
That's right.
Good sucks an egg!
Romalia
You can grow
looks
turnips anywhere, so.
Romalia looks at
Then,
it.
then I'll go back to my normal
Form.
How do we know that you won't sell out Neverwinter and Waterdeep and the rest of the realms if the money's good enough?
Ooh, good question. Good question.
Now I see why you liked them.
Is he talking to Valen?
I'm very much talking to this interim.
Valen is just looked like agog, like aghast, just like, you wound me. You're not incorrect, but still, you said the quiet part out loud.
You said the quiet part out loud.
If the cult
Only
is
for you.
destroyed, which is my goal, I will have all the money I need. They have vast riches. We only crashed a part of it at the gates of the dwarven cities. There's much more.
Okay.
All right. I can understand and respect one motive.
If the council doesn't want me to go, I'll leave now. It's of no consequence.
Coin is at least an understandable motivation.
Aye, that was fairly flimsy story. If he wasn't in a zone of truth, I'd swear he was making it up on the spot as he went. But
making it up as I go.
Revenge and gold, I believe. Though.
Hey, that's what I got for a backstory. Okay, that's what Carrington gave me. So, at least some of it, most of it.
What was that, Conrad Brandnimble?
I'm trusting revenge and gold as being his motives. I think he's telling the truth. I think we know where he stands.
All right.
All right. So that tells us that we've got two cultists, one that was tortured and one that was greedy. Well, that got done with that. That leaves only one more.
Valen's looking around like, oh, who's that? Who are we questioning? The kobold?
What?
The bird?
So, on to the question of this mask.
Ah, yes. I want to know the answer to the mask as well. What are you talking about? I wasn't paying attention.
Please, if you would, it would be your turn to have a seat for the council.
She rolls her eyes.
And you may want to summon Leosin so that he can show that we did give him the mask.
Out of character, Leosin's not on the council? Yeah, I think Valen will just say this. Huh?
Call witnesses?
Yeah, a witness could be called if you wanted to.
We want to call Theosin as our witness.
Okay. All right. So Valen will like descend down, like sit down in this. She'll straighten her dress, straighten her jewelry, pull out her nail file, and start sharpening her nails. I suppose we're going to hold up these entire proceedings while a dangerous dragon-fueled cult is planning. We're going to summon a monk to have him testify as to whether or not he received a party mask. That's what this council is boiled down to. Just
You could probably save us all a lot of time by just telling us what you did.
she points at Romalia. Is that track?
So Romalia is kind of between a rock and a hard place here. But I think that she has to be able to trust even everybody that she's dealing with. And even if this, I think the Zentarum need this as much as they do. And so I think this is really kind of this is a kind of calling a bluff, right? Because she won't do this, then they're not going to be neutral anymore. And I tell her, I lean over to her and I whisper to her and I say, if you don't get into that chair, when you go back to your Zentarum brothers and sisters, I will have it spread all over Waterdeep how you foobarred this entire procedure.
Valen
Or
at that. Go ahead.
go sit in the chair and answer the questions, and then we can all leave here.
Valen will stand and she will say, I am willing to discuss my motivations, my findings, but I will not discuss my methods, for those are trade secrets. If that is agreed, then we can proceed.
Well,
Is lying really a trade secret?
I think
She
the
looks-
methods you got a hold of the mask are more important than your feelings.
She says, I agree that your agents could definitely harm my reputation. But is it really worth it when I could sell down the reputations? After this proceeding, I believe it should be public knowledge, and it would be a real shame if it were to be leaked through the Black Network. Do you think that that you could stymie the information with the Harper organization faster than the Black Network could pass it along? I don't know if
She
I'd be
looks
willing.
over.
I believe that there's only one simple piece of information that is relevant here. And that is that you may or may not have chose to try and supersede this council's authority on this matter by procuring this mask.
Interesting. That is a serious accusation, Counselor Froome.
The only thing that it is serious for is this council. It has no merit for your organization because it would not reveal anything about how you did this or through what your desires were. But it does show very much your own desires within this council.
And Romalia looks over at her and says, and that is something that Laurel Silverhand would very much be interested in.
Valen will stand. She'll straighten her dress. She'll straighten her jewelry. Fine. If it pleases this kangaroo council, I will do it. She walks over, sits down in the chair, straightens her dress, kicks a little bit of the salt off of her feet. Ask away.
Baylor leans over to Patron and goes, I didn't know they were kangaroos.
So how did you find this mask in your possession?
It was given to me
By whom?
by the party
When?
the other day before they left for Thay.
That's a lie. We gave the mask to Leosin. Leo.
Did
So
you,
in that moment, you believed that you were giving it to Theos.
She hasn't lied.
Name is Theo.
Well, no, I know that.
Oh, I know. That's what Onthar's saying.
Nope, Baylor needs
in
to roll a
response
check. Nope, Baylor's got to sit this one out, guys. Sorry.
Only smart some of the time. Depends on if it's his turn with the brain cell.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Darn orange cats.
Yeah, right.
Clearly, you were not the person I gave the mask to.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize that you were on this council. I'm only going to be taking questions from the council this time. Sorry, darling. But I believe in you. With enough time and influence, you can get there.
Baylor's fingers start turning black.
So
Romalia asks, is the mask genuinely a fake?
Yes. It is genuinely a fake.
Do you know where the real one is?
I do not.
would you have brought it before the council if it wasn't a fake?
Perhaps. It depends on what my employers wanted, really. I'm just in it for the money, let's be real.
Did this party, these individuals know they were giving you the mask, or did they think they were giving it to somebody else when you received it?
Does that really matter?
It does.
Do they think they were giving it to someone else? It's possible that It's possible that I acquired the mask through subterfuge, which, as I discussed, I would not reveal my exact methods. So, let me say this.
Why
Go ahead.
take the mask? Why did you take the mask?
For the
What
money.
did you do with it?
Study.
Sell it?
We wished to know the power it contained. The council was already in possession of a single mask. The Zentarum did not have one. We did not want to see them squabble. We wanted to be able to study its properties and devise a way to stop the cult. And it is very difficult to work within the confines of the council, when instead we can study an item ourselves and come up with a solution.
Was the mask that you received a fake?
Yes, it was. And I don't know where it is, but our wizards have scryed, and we believe that it is already at the Well of Dragons, unfortunately.
There is one thing that I will state. Even though I may not always see eye to eye, I do not believe that you would have any reason to bring us a fake if you had the real one. There would be no reason to reveal yourself in that matter.
Unless it means that we would stop looking for it.
Have your own wizards look into it. I am merely trying to save the council time, and I would like to posit that while I am, as you've put it so bluntly and harshly, an opportunist, which does wound me, it does.
I don't care.
My organization, we do have interests. And to be quite frank, dragons, a draconic cult, and the possible return of a cataclysmic dragon goddess, to be quite frank, are all bad for business.
Well, that's the first thing you've said that I believe.
She points at the salt and is like, "You have no faith in me." That's completely unfair. Not unwarranted, but unfair. So, she, slowly starts to get up, and she's like, "Is that all?"
That's all the questions I have.
I believe that definitely gives us the information that even the party was looking for.
She does like a mock curtsy and is like, I am ever so happy to be a servant of this council. That is all I have wanted since it's begun.
Is she still in the zone of truth?
No.
Yeah. That's important.
I mean, she's all about them dollar bills.
I know. I knew that had to be a lie.
Elf's gotta
I
eat.
What, eat steak?
Elf better have my money.
Yeah, where's my money? So she says, well, I thought that was very interesting. And I've decided, out of my benevolence, because you have also been so kind to me, that I am going to keep your secret safe and sound. Unless I have to use it, but I will be safe and sound with me. Big smiles from her. All right, she will go back up and say, the doors. The doors swing open, and suddenly the party, Night Divinity says, and if you all believe that, she can sell you a bridge. I actually do have some land east of Miami that if anyone's interested, Valen will sell it to you.
Yeah, that's right. East of Miami.
So anyway, at that time, the doors to the council room open, and suddenly, hovering just a few centimeters above the ground, is this red wizard who enters, and she looks at all of you with like her strange, cold, dead eyes. She just regards each of you.
You should probably remind the people who have seen the movie that this is the
villainess.
Villainess.
So she like
Played
flies.
by Daisy Head.
Yep. So she kind of like floats in and she says, "Apologies for my tardiness. I am still adjusting to this different time. But I understand there is a meeting that I am to attend." And with that, she continues creepily just like floating into the room. Her toes are like, you can see them like dangling beneath her dress or her robes. And she just like looks at the rest of the party as she kind of floats by and is just like, "Hello." She regards the council, says, "Where should I sit?"
Well, I don't imagine we need this anymore. An Antharp room collapse. Please clean up this salt.
She kind of hisses at it. Valen at this point, it just like looks at Antharp room and is just like, "And you don't like me?" And she points at, she says, "And you have one of those in here. I'm just saying, battles."
Look, it's new to me as well.
She looks at Antharp and says, "Go ahead."
Do I know if the Zentarum have ever had any dealings with the Red Wizards of Thay?
Yeah.
In all of my spying network?
Yeah.
Then I look over at her and I say, "Pot, kettle, black."
She says, "That's right." She actually looks at her and she's just like, "I am hoping that we'll be able to open up some good negotiations for trade with Thay. I think that'll be very profitable after the war, you know." And with that, the Red Wizard just kind of like... So where is she sitting, by the way? Did you like gesture to a chair or something like that? Like on
Well,
like
once the rest of it was
Overall.
cleared, it would have left the same chair. But I don't know if they were trying to question or just bring her up. Bring back up
she's
to the table.
Valen will actually stand up at this point and say, I apologize. So, our group of heroes have brought a new member of this council. This is Nim Ilach. She is a new member of the council. And
Did you say their name was Ugh?
I don't even. I'm gonna let you all pronounce this one. It's a doozy. I will say I love fantasy names because like, man,
We love our wives, don't we?
we love them, especially in Fae, man. They love them.
Oh, apostrophes.
Yeah. Oh, apostrophes. Let's see here. Yeah. Maybe it's Nye. I'm gonna throw this into the chat. It's in there. Here it is. NYH space ILMICHH.
Oh, good lord.
What was that? I think that it's pronounced. Yeah.
It's spelled that way, but it's
Yeah.
pronounced throat wobbler mangrove. I don't know if you get that reference or not.
Oh my gosh. Night Divinity, remind me what we called her last time. It was not a lich. Oh, not a lich. Thanks.
Yeah, the throat wobbler mangrove, that was a deep Monty Python cut.
Ah, yes.
Ah,
The Monty Python.
infamous Nye Ilmich.
Yeah. Nye Ilmich. So Nye will, yes, please allow me to introduce,
I am a man of wealth and taste.
yes, allow me to have the pleasure of introducing for the first time, Counselor Nye Ilmich, a new council member on this council representing the great and powerful nation of Fae. And Nye will float up into the air, near the chandeliers, and then just float over the entire council regarding each of them, and then just float down into her chair, and just
That was neat.
Thank you. I feel so welcome here. The food is strange, usually not alive, but everything here is acceptable.
Is this news to the other counselors?
Oh yeah,
She
the
is
fact that
a
she's
counselor?
joining the council. Mm-hmm. The fact that they have negotiated an alliance, and that is a great transition into our next order of business. So, this is our Valen says, this is our next order of business. Is the alliance with Fae. I for one am very. She looks over at Nye as she reaches out and grabs a fly, and then eats it. And she looks over at Ramalia and she mouths I'm in it for the money, and she's just very excited for the potential for us all to work together in a very way that is both profitable and positive for all parties involved.
Romalia speaks up and says, I know that we can always trust that Faye's interests in keeping and expanding its power will never allow it to share power with a dragon cult. Of that, I am sure.
Nai is like, she like wipes a wing from her face. Yes, we wish to do our part. What does Conrad Brownenville make of all this?
He is like almost stunned that this is even happening, and he's like, "I'm sure there's nothing but all of our best interests in your heart behind this too. I'm sure of that." He kind of spits to the side, grumbling under his breath.
She kind of like tilts her
I
head
can just
creepily.
imagine her out of character. I can just imagine her saying, "I had a heart once.
Oh, that's a good line. I'm going to use it.
Millennia ago that I had a heart."
I remember when my heart beat at one point.
That's right.
It was inconvenient. I removed it. She looks over. She like does like her head like cracks to the side as she like looks at Antar. What does Antar think of all this? Is Antar even there?
Oh no!
Yeah, I can hear. I can hear you now.
Okay. The rest, I guess, wasn't coming through. So do you guys worry about money?
Money is it's like a passing river. It is in time. It comes and it goes and is necessary in dealings with mortals, but ultimately is useless. Trappings of a former life. We are much interested in power, because power, if collected properly, can stabilize a civilization for eternity.
So sometimes. Okay. So what has convinced you to fight against the Dragon Queen?
The Dragon Queen's return would be cataclysmic, and would set back the machinations of Zaz-Tam untold millennia. It would also cause, at first, a great many abundance of corpses for us to harvest. But, in the end, there would not nearly be enough left for us to sustain our way of life. Unfortunately.
Romalia looks over.
Go ahead.
Romalia looks over at Anthar and says, "In other words, the great Archlich can't control the Dark Queen. And that's why we can trust them to fight against the cult. She's out of his control."
Enemy of my enemy, then, eh?
Most definitely. Zaz-Tam will never share power, and he can't control the Dragon Queen. So we can trust Thay to see after its own interests.
Thay will look to Thay's interest. We are also interested in collecting the exiles aligned with this cult leader, including Rath Mondar, and taking him back to reintegrate him and his exiles into Thayan society.
Oh, Rathar is in trouble.
We will look to Thay's interests.
Yes,
God.
you already said that.
Sure you will.
Does anyone else on this council have issue with releasing Thay to Thay, then?
As a representative of the Zentarum, I propose that we allow Thay to do this, as Thay will know how best to treat, deal with, and ultimately remove those pieces from the board. I think that we should let the nice lady do what she wants in regards to her former cohorts. Oh, is now when I say all in favor?
The Harpers agree.
Aye.
It's down to you, Councilor Brawnapple.
He's grumbling under his breath about dealings with snakes and corpses and shaking his head. But he reluctantly grumbles, aye, let the abominations have the abominations.
I do not believe that we are abominations. I believe that we are the future, as well as the past. We are the...
We can debate philosophy later. Agree?
Yeah.
Potato.
She just like looks. She just like looks like she like cocks her head unnaturally at you, and it's just like, oh. Your Wadravian ways are, I think that's the demonym, strange to me. I do not understand. Perhaps we will have tea in the blood of something living later.
I'm afraid that I'm going to be washing my hair.
Valen's just like, do you need help? Like, as much as I would love for whatever that is.
Make sure to look into any disappearances.
Oh, no doubt about that. And with that, the doors open again.
This is a secret council meeting that everybody just shows up at.
Well, I mean, I feel like Laeral Silverhand has. I think if anyone can enter, she can.
She can show up anytime she wants to. That's fine.
Yes. She walks forward and says, "Councilors, friends, dear ones, I do apologize for my delay. We were drawing battle plans, and it took me some time, but I am ready now to proceed. I see that you have begun," she says, "I see that you have begun without me, that you have met Councilor Illick and Valen. You're in my seat."
I love it. That's true.
Valen just like, "Oh, darling, never you mind. I was just keeping it warm for you," and gives her a sly wink. Stands up and sits on the other side of Ermelia Haventree. She says, "We'll just have a good time here," and like squeezes her hand.
Ramalia looks down and says, you've got a
chip nail.
Here.
Shame. I had to dispose of my last nail person. Anyways, so Laeral Silverhand approaches and says, my My dear friends, she looks at the rest of the party and says, I do hope that your travels recently, which we will not discuss in front of the council, were not too... your vacation, as it were, was not too, difficult. Was it not? She's talking about your trip to Thay. It seems to have borne fruit.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember.
Yeah, you got them aboard. So yes, it was productive and you're happy. She's happy, it seems.
I plead the fifth.
She puts her hand on your shoulder and says, it's always good to see you. And with that, she will, she'll kind of like float around. Not actually.
This is the one that Baylor was flirting with at one point, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Heart eye emoji. So she will like very gracefully walk up. She'll take her seat and she will say, friends, you have been tasked with dealing with the cult of the dragon, time and time again, regardless of your backgrounds, your feelings, and even your history. She looks as though she knows, and she has known. Regardless of your history, your past, and everything, this council has continued to ask more and more of you each time. And I am afraid, at this time, we must ask even more of you. There are terrible forces that are gathering at the Well of Dragons. We have a plan, but it will require the entirety of this council's resources in order to enact, as well as no small amount of cunning, heroism, luck, and trust in order to pull it off.
Well, I don't trust Valen.
Do you trust me?
Yeah.
I called Council of Valen to come here. We needed the Zentarim's resources as ours are dwindling. To be quite frank, other than, she looks over at Conrad Brownenville, other than a few members, we find that our reserves are beginning to shrink. The cult is simply too many places, and we have only limited resources, whereas the Zentarim has the connections, the networks, the resources in the capital, in order for us to successfully combat the cult. This is something we could not ignore.
You might say that they have eyes everywhere.
Yes.
Like a big ball of eyes.
Like a big ball of eyes. Valen looks at you and says, "Darling, why are you making it weird?" So I must ask our council members for your resources, your friendship, and your trust one last time, as we impart the greatest amount of trust in our heroes. Their success would mean freedom, prosperity, and victory across the realms for all peoples. Their failure, cataclysmic destruction. What I ask, my dear members of the council, is for you, and she gestures to the party, each one of you. She kind of gestures to Baylor, to Mordok, to Patron, to Rillick, and to Zed, who's still coloring on the floor, and Valen. Or not Valen, sorry, and Baldus. I've got too many V names. She says, I am asking for you to entrust these heroes, who have proven their worth time and time again, with the keys to the apocalypse. and I do not do so lightly. But I believe that they have proven themselves, time and time again. Waterdeep will support these heroes. Will you? And she'll say, Council of Waterdeep.
The Harpers stand ready.
Councillor Bronanvil.
This lot has shown questionable judgment, bringing these vipers into our midst, entering into deals. But I do believe their motives are pure, even if their judgment isn't always the best. And they have been brave, as you say. Can't argue with the results they've shown against these chromatic dragons plaguing us. I trust your judgment, Silverhand. I'll give you my support.
Councillor Froome.
There's never a point in which the Order of the Gauntlet will not stand against the darkness.
Very good. Councillor Bainray. And Valen will say, you have the full support, financial, emotional support, intellectual, whatever it is that you need. We'll get it done, darling. I'm sure that we will, and we'll not see. I'm sure that we'll see the bill, as it were, afterwards. And Valen will say, well, of course, I'll invoice you later. We'll figure out the split, the treasure. And Lady Laurel Silverhand says, and you, Councillor Illick. And with that, Nin just kind of looks around. We will do our part, and we will remove the wizards from play and take them back to Thay, where they will be dealt with. You have our word. She says, heroes, the council has decided to put its trust in you. This is a heavy burden, and one that we do not share with you lightly. I realize that your motives may be different from ours, but I believe that we all desire the same thing. Will you take up this banner, and will you partake this noble quest and stop the very end, the possible end of the very world in which you live on? Will you do this for this council and for every person who draws breath? She looks over at Nim and possibly doesn't draw breath in this world. And she'll ask this of each one of you. We'll start with Baylor.
Yeah, I suppose.
Mordock.
Yes?
Patron.
Yes.
Rillick.
Of course.
Zed.
Well, you see, you know me. I love dragons. I want to be one when I grow up. But I like my friends more. So, yeah, I'm in. And to commemorate such a special occasion, I finished drawing my picture, and I'd like to give it to you, Mr. Froome, if you'd be so honored to collect it from me.
Does Councillor Froome take the picture?
Yes.
Excellent.
My, what a wonderful picture this is!
Do you actually have a picture?
Oh, yeah. What do you think I've been doing this whole time?
He said he was whipping out the crown at the very beginning.
There's been a dragon fact requested in by Night Divinity.
I mean, yeah, I love dragons.
Yeah, I didn't realize Valdus was so cute.
Yep,
Oh my gosh, you really did draw a picture.
I did.
Where did he put it? Where's the picture?
It's
I
in.
put
It's
it
in.
It's in our memes channel.
For
Okay.
those who are on the council, I'll put it here. Here it is for you.
Oh,
Yep. It's hanging on your meat locker. Since it's in a fridge, that's funny. All right. Oh my gosh, can we see it? How are we even gonna see it?
Yeah. I will post it on Twitter, and I'll post the link.
There you go. We'll get it on Twitter, and we'll get it up there. So, all right.
The cuteness, it burns.
So, she says, it's almost like she gets a little misty, and she says,
Wait, did Mr. Froome like my painting, my picture for him?
I think so. Did Ontharr Froome
It's
love it?
wonderful.
Oh, good.
Are you gonna put it on your meat locker?
Oh, you must,
I
I,
know
was
how
like,
much-
what a wonderful picture this is.
I made it just for you. It's a picture of Valdus. Because you know dragons are cool.
Of course.
And
And
what's the
you
point
did
of
a
dragon
wonderful job.
Thank you.
All
Anyway,
right.
sorry, ma'am. You can continue.
She says, she almost gets a little misty in this moment where she just kind of says to you, she says, heroes, this journey has been one that has been very special. At first you came here to us as heroes, in your own right, but we have seen you each grow, change, and take on each new task with great care in your opposition to the cult in order to save the very world. We would not ask this of you if we did not think it was possible. The Council has decreed we put our hopes, all of them, in each of you. She will say she'll step up and she'll stand up, and the rest of the counselors rise. And Nim does it like stands up in the creepiest way possible. I think probably all of her vertebrae crack at once. And she says, if you will come, she says, my good friends, if you will please accompany me to the battle room, or to the war room. We will discuss the strategy. And I guess you follow.
Yeah.
In the war room, there's a big map of a caldera, and you can see that there are all kinds of different kind of figures and like different things. She says, this is our approximation of their forces. You can see that there are even like Zentara mercenaries on the side of the Cult of the Dragon. You can see, let me see here. Yeah, perfect. There are, in the middle of this caldera is a little wizard surrounded by a bunch of other red wizards. She says, these are the cult leaders, including Severin and Rathmondar. There are also cult troops all around outside. Surrounded by chromatic dragons, there are devils as well outside. Whole legions of devils, giants, Zentara mercenaries, and even more red wizards as well. She says, our plan, and she kind of gestures to their forces, is to provide you with a distraction. Councillor Froome, Councillor Conrad Brownanvil, Councillor Romelia Haventry, I would ask that you come and accompany me into battle as we provide a distraction for our heroes. Will you agree to this?
The Harpers stand ready, Lady Silverhand, as always, to protect the realms.
She looks down to Conrad Brownanvil.
I will be there. You have our shields.
Councilor Froome.
If there's one thing that we can do, we can definitely hold a line.
Valen looks and is just like, darling, I'm going to stay here and just keep an eye on things, but we have a proxy there. He's a really good general. You see, I'm much more diplomat, much less, lead, boots on the ground kind of things. It doesn't go well with...
Is that what they call you?
Oh, yes. She looks and she says, this is imported silk. This would be terrible on the battlefield.
We agree on this.
Yes, it is imported. Why wouldn't we agree? I just told you.
No, it would be terrible on the battlefield. You would be terrible on the battlefield.
She crosses her arms. Well, now I'm going.
Right.
All right. The red wizard will just continue to be creepy. And she'll say...
So,
go ahead.
Alright, so do we have help from the metallic dragons as well?
Yes. The Order of the Gauntlet, the Zentarum, the Harper agents, the metallic dragons, the army of the Lord's Alliance, and even some members of the Arcane Brotherhood have pledged their service in protection of the realms. We, as members of the Council, will lead and provide a distraction. You will infiltrate this temple that they have constructed, and you will stop whatever feigned ritual you find within. We do not know exactly what defenses they have inside, but we do know that they must have something. They have been planning this for some time, and
If
they must not succeed.
they don't have all the dragon masks, can they proceed?
Our sources tell us that they can proceed, but only if they sacrifice. Only if they were to sacrifice multiple dragons, or only if they were to sacrifice an ancient dragon of the missing dragon.
The fat kind? No. Oh.
The
missing dragon of the...
What color are they missing? Black?
Black. Okay, I see where this is
It has to be
going.
an ancient dragon that's black?
How about just a dragon?
Yeah, I see where this is going.
Don't like that.
Me neither. Actually, I kind of like it. Anyways,
Oh,
but...
we forget him all the time anyway, so...
Oh, Valdus? Now we're going to remember Valdus. Alright.
We don't forget. Our
So-
DM forgets.
Wow,
Foreshadowing.
that's rude. Alright, so she gestures to the thing, or to the battle map, and she says, "This is our plan. We believe that these locations," and she kind of points to different points in the caldera. She says, "We believe that these locations will provide areas of ingress and egress. But it will be up to you once you're inside. We will not be able to provide you with any assistance. It'll be you against whatever's inside. Good luck." All right. Wow. Is there a Valdus Forgotten counter, Night Divinity, to be determined, but it's easily above 10. Thanks.
I mean, that's definitely in fact, I would say that's lenient.
Wow, rude. Anyways, so the plan is set. The council has their roles that they'll be participating in the battle. The party will be infiltrating into this place as the battle is happening. We will be, in the next several episodes, we'll be wrapping up this, but this is the end of our council session. I think we'll go ahead and end a little bit early tonight. But I wanted to go ahead and just say a few things. One, I wanted to thank all of our council members for participating tonight. I had a great time. I hope that you all did as well. Thank you so much for joining.
Woo!
Absolutely. Our pleasure. I also want to thank our players, everyone who is hanging out with us in chat, and all the folks that support us here at Open Heart Games. Does anyone have anything before I do the closing? All right.
You said something about 14.
14?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
We leveling up now.
Everyone gains a level. All right, and so please level up for the next session. You all will be level 14. So thank you so much to all of our supporters, all of the folks that have subscribed to us, and all the folks that have donated to our Extra Life donation. One of the things we do is we raise money for Extra Life through Children's Miracle Network hospitals for our local children's hospital, Roanoke Carilion Children's. And if you like the content that we do here at Open Heart Games, you can help us out in several different ways. The first is you can like and follow us on Facebook. You can also do the same on Instagram. You can follow us and subscribe to our YouTube page. You can also follow us here and also subscribe to us here on Twitch. We stream every Thursday night, and we would love to have you join us and check us out. If you have an Amazon Prime account, you can subscribe to us for free. If you want to also, you can gift subs to folks. We love the support, and it helps us continue to do what we do here. If you'd like to donate directly to our charity, our goal this year is our most ambitious ever, raising $5,000 for Extra Life, beating out our last 2 years of goals. You can go right here to extra-life.org/team/open-heart-games, and that would be awesome. So next week is when we will start the final chapter called Tiamat's Return. I feel like it should be Tiamat's Return ? Because maybe she won't come back. So that's where we will start the next session, and I would say it'll take 2 or 3 sessions for us to probably conclude all the Tyranny of Dragons. So we're getting very close. So thank you all so much. Have a great evening, and take heart.